All right. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? We are on our Sunday. We are on our Sunday vibes. Yes! All right. Sorry it took so long. I was definitely trying to scramble together. I wanted to play a little bit of Ryuichi Sakamoto. I heard some really bad news today, and I wanted to be able to like pay homage to him. Be able to play a couple things from one of my favorite albums of his, Ongaku. Uh, I definitely need to do a lot more, but I think that it was something where I felt really deeply about it. It was something I really wanted to just kind of let play out for a bit before I got started. That, and it's kind of hard to be able to describe what happens in between Thursdays and Sundays, because at most you just have like your weekend stuff where it's like, how's your weekend going, and you're like, oh, wonderful. But like if you just kind of do errands for the weekend, you kind of just have to bring up like any like other small minute things that you might have encountered or experienced at some point. Like, I think the only other thing was me just kind of being like nearly passed out on the couch, just kind of like scrolling, like doom scrolling, and finding what's it called? The WrestleMania happened, or at least the first night of WrestleMania. It's been a while since I've actually caught up with it, but on my console I started playing a little bit of like the NBA, no, WWE 2K22. So like last year's. It's a really funny juxtaposition to go from like the story mode where like Rey Mysterio's talking like, "Oh, my greatest accomplishment was like being able to bring my son out and like to be able to wrestle together and like be able to help him win and stuff," to like this whole entire arc where like, what's it called, Dominic's just being really awful and is like yelling at his mom and like spitting at his family, like just trying to like antagonize them until Ray like has to fight back. But I feel like that's probably the main reason why I watched, or I guess at least like kind of clicked on little like sort of snippets of WrestleMania. There was like the Seth Rollins fight where like Logan Paul did like a like a frog splash onto like KSI. That was fun to see regularly, but I feel like probably some of the more interesting stuff was always just kind of like the little pockets of other things that people have done just to kind of be impressive. I think like the Ray and Charlotte fight was really awesome. They were doing a lot of like just kind of high flying shit. Chad Gable in that one tag team one where like he was just like rolling around, like just to be able to suplex someone as large as like Strowman. That was a good time. But I feel like what would be an even better time would be if I got this show on the road. If I was able to just kind of put this on pause, be able to turn on a couple things, turn off a couple things. I think that everything that is on needs to be on. But let us give this a look. Open up this window, scroll down here, and it's this one, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And yeah, once I get a better tower, I definitely want to start streaming things that are a little more like demanding. So like, I was definitely like playing the RE4 like remake trailer, or was it called? I was playing the remake demo on like the console, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, I was like shitting my pants as I was trying to like run away from like the chainsaw dude. Actually got like knocked out by the chainsaw dude once, but like the good thing about getting killed once is that you can like bounce right back. Um, Not sure how that works out in real life, but in video games, the try again is always a blessed option. But yeah, it was fun to finally get the bingo night line. I hadn't played RE4. I only played like 1, 2, 5, 6. I still need to play all the other ones. But it's a good time. I like how in Resident Evil it's something where like you can have the shit scared out of you, but you can also like fight back a little bit. It's a little more exciting or a lot less like hectic and scary in that sense. But let's get this guy going. Alright, let's press any key. Just about any key possible. Alright, let's load the game. Let's see what the latest in cutting edge technology is. This is, it would be 101.56. Let's see. What was going on last time? It's always one of those mid-trial things. I think the ideal... Let's see. The report indicates the unknown poison. This is her poison thing. Yeah, so apparently, in case you were not here for the time... what's it called? Oh, let me look at the people. This fine English gentleman who was visiting from Britain had gotten killed at a restaurant where, like... he was eating with, like, this lady. And there was, like, a couple other people that were sort of sitting around the table, like, at another table. But, like, because you ended up picking up the gun... No, that's not you. Because you ended up getting the gun picked up, you pretty much end up having to, like, defend yourself in court. You're Ryunosuke Naruhodo, but this is your best friend Kazuma Asogi. He's your best pal, and he's helping you, give you advice towards, like, how to be able to defend yourself in court. Because your kind of main, like, sort of authority and his mentor was pretty much just like, hey, like, if Kazuma messes this up, his dreams of going to Britain for, like, studying law are going to be over. It's all ogre from here, so if he doesn't want this to be ogre from here, he has to defend me. Now, this is the prosecutor who's really trying to get me in jail. This is the guy that he's, like, supposed to be the waiter, but he ended up not being the waiter. He's actually an investigator. And he's trying to create, like, almost this entire story around the idea that I did it. And he's trying to, like, almost, like, silence everybody that was a witness, just so they could all just kind of coalesce and acquiesce under the idea that, like, nobody could have done it except for you. And she is probably the prime suspect at the moment, because she's an exchange student who is studying under the victim. So she was kind of like the pupil to John H. Wilson. But, like, she's also studying poisonology, or she's studying a lot of poisons. So there's a huge suspicion that she might have poisoned his drink before shooting him. But, like, that's still all under speculation. We're all still trying to figure out what is behind all of this. So there were a few times where, like, there were a couple fake outs, but, like, what's it called? Eugene Mikutoba's, what's it called? Is like, I think daughter, maybe? And Kazuma's assistant ended up barging in with new evidence, which was the, this report. So now we're pretty much just kind of parsing through that and seeing what we got to do. Alright. Hold on a sec. Oh, I have really bad reflux. Sorry about this. Speaking of, Hosunaga-san, what do you think of all this? Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. The steak is still intact? Man, that must be rotting by now. Where'd you keep that? Did you keep that in the fridge? Did you just make a fresh steak just to put it back on there? I guess this is one of those things where they charged me so quickly that they, like, just kind of just decided, let's see, November 19th. I think today might be, like, the 22nd, maybe. So, however many days it was past the 19th, that's how long this steak was probably sitting there, if that's the real steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? For
course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. I want to see some blood, bro. The blood, man.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. Man, you guys wipe that fucking plate. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. Oh, I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the table. Or the plate, shit. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what they tell you. Oh, that's offensive.
Ah. I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may have reached a conclusion of this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. Lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
As the evidence requested that the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of the evidence of the trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
That blood stain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? I think maybe the bite marks, wouldn't it be? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. The plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that'll reveal the shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Man, you'd have so many people upset at you. Everyone is obsessed with beefsteak in the West. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel of Defense, you will now clearly show the court what you are alluding.
Where precisely on the plate of steak is the beefsteak? I feel like calling it beefsteak is very wild. I guess because we usually just kind of call it like steak, but... And then just differentiate the other kinds of steaks, like salmon steaks, or... But just beefsteak is just steak. But yeah, Chie would be very excited to be able to look at this. Let's see. I guess it would be that bite mark, wouldn't it be? That's a lot of steak. Oh, fuck. There's a hidden coin? That's pure luck. That was pure luck that you just happened to find even more evidence underneath, like, the evidence. Just on a hunch. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No. I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks like it's in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today someone's been talking about a Hoei Koban. That dude. That old dude. The guy that looks like Fang from Street Fighter V. I heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. That's so funny. Man, they had a field day making up this localization. A bullion in bullion. And I don't think it ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Let's click on that coin. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. And it's well marinated in juices as well. Look. It's probably really tasty if you bite into it. Man. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift up the meat and peek underneath for a prize. Man, it's like, what's it called? Lifting up the meat and peering underneath to see the prize. I imagine there's a lot of prizes you can find by lifting up a big Shmeat. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? Oh, I certainly never expected that. Oh, this is just clicking on that. Where precisely on this plate is the new clue to be found? I guess, what's it called? You would have to find the person, wouldn't you? Oh, I guess probably presenting this. Right now. Yeah, I would probably present this, yeah? Wait, no, that's the wrong button.
Got it!
Got it! Good gracious! That's a well-marinated coin! I could sink my teeth into that.
Ah! Koban?
What on earth? A Hoei era one at that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I wouldn't even know what that thing is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin underneath the meat. That would simply been a careless mistake by the chef in the point of the distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. I will eat my ticket. I will shit it out, and I'll eat the shit it out ticket. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency.
Yes, Counsel.
A rare Hoei coin just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up being a lawyer right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyways. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize it's you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing underneath the steak. I did the right prompt. It was bone in the meat, not meat in the bone. Or was it meat in the bone and not bone under the meat? I don't know. Maybe it's coin in the meat.
The owner.
Yes, it's obvious the one person it can belong to. The owner of the coin that's found underneath the beefsteak is this guy. They even spell it out for you in his bio. The owner who is hunting for the... Oh god. Sorry. I need to be right back. I just had some really bad reflux. And I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys. Alright. To all of the one people that's watching at the moment, we are back. Yes. Alright. We're going to point out Kirio Korekuta, who happened to be able to be the guy who has the lost coin because this bio says so. Alright, so underneath the beefsteak, it's this dude. Okay.
Take that!
Obviously can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute. Kirio Korekuta-san.
You as in Mr. Cucumber or something.
Oh, fuck. That was the other dude. Kiori. As in Mr. Cucumber or something. Honestly, these ridiculous names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired.
You can shut interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the whole way out of Kaban, my prized coin.
Then this Hohe era coin. You don't mean to tell me.
Objection!
No, please. Why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between a victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand, so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back here, without a moment's delay.
Man, if there's a moment's delay, what's going to happen? I can't believe we've come back to the round of that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of the Koban, we'll find a key element to this case. Oh, the baby's back. Dun, 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 dun. This is the beat to Becky by Plies. Bob, give me head and nine. Get that vibe, give me that Becky. Dun, 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 give me that Becky. Hold on. Sorry. I have a theory here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Give me that Becky on the slick, oh so heavy. For we fuck, can you neck me, little head, and I am ready. Want your mouth? Give me that Becky. Yeah, that's the beat. That's the beat to Becky. Sorry, I was like, I need to test this out quickly. Alright. What is this about? Why have I been called again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for my little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man with a trace, a worthless withered antique. Nothing more I have to say. The sun is set on the Rasute shop owner's existence.
Be that as it may, Kodakuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you proceeded?
Yes, that's it. That's the one. The very one. The exact same one that was. The resplendent splendor of this highway treasure that is my rusty bonds mansion to misplace that faithful name. It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man,
Young man.
enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put it out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
And the value of it. Sandwiched. Soaking. Seriously?
Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose.
Somebody concealed my treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing.
Excuse me. Surprise, bitch. Could I say something? I tamper with enough cases and tamper with enough crime scenes that I would know. Yes, of course.
Proceed.
I mentioned this earlier in the trial, but I was working undercover in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. This secret undercover operation.
Le Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run-in of similar executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip this case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job as a waiter in order to flush out the criminal. It seemed likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korekuta-san's Koban is all too clear.
What?
I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel who snuck the Koban and hid it underneath the steak?
Give her that bouquet. So I guess it would be the person, let's see. It would either be him because he knew. I mean, it would be ahead of time. So it would have been he lost the coin right there. It was the person sitting next to him who had to have done it. So I think it might be Nosa. Man, not uncomfortable. Being like, oh, we're gonna hit two birds with one stone. We have to find the thief and the murderer. Let's see. I mean, you've tampered with a lot of crime scenes, yes, but you were like right next to him.
Take that!
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesa Nosa.
What?
How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that koban, did I? I'm a master thief of Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all of this. You would push the blame of your crimes on your own son? An innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa.
Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Ah!
Nippon Imperial Sergeant Iesa Nosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? Oh man, like actual like veteran affairs stuff, where it's like the army doesn't pay anybody and they don't give any benefits, so we have to steal in order to be able to make money.
I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remain in place. And I have heard it's hard for low-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes.
All I want is to put a hot meal on the plate for my son. And that's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heavy with money. Every 3 days I go in there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chopping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. Man, I'd be like, he's an old man, so he's really easy to trick. You're just like, oh yeah, I have plenty of old coins. This one is a really fun one. I think I might just keep it in my pocket for the time being. Don't worry, I'll give it back to you. I just needed to have an old friend look at it.
Revenge of a phantom thief you are. And you said I was a mark, that's so mean.
I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. But that means that was the steak on the other plate, wasn't it? Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Be like, I appreciate this and respect this, but the trial wasn't for theft, it was for murder. You're gonna have to wait another day before you see your sentence paid out in court. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling on your own time. Well, Miss Brett.
Of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any further at all.
May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The theft of the kobold was perpetuated by this baby-shadowed sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it? Of course, oof.
And as for picking up your steak and biting it without a knife and fork,
She's gonna say something racist. You have to use that Kazumi image of her, like, looking really disturbed. Oh no, it's the Goku one. Because the Kazumi one is the I'm starting to hate. This is the stand back, I'm about to get racist one that Goku has. Yeah. As for bite, let's see. What are you going to say that's racist?
it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all questions concerning this have been answered, I see no further justification in detaining her. Miss Brett, you're free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh no, it's just
Something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something that didn't add up. If that's the case, don't stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. You can think later. But if you don't call it out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett.
what is it now?
I'm afraid. Just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words just a few moments ago.
What are you talking about?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words were you talking about, Ryunosuke? What indeed?
Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting it without a knife and a fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Yes, I'm right. What she's saying there exposed an undeniable contradiction. Oh. They're different meats. I think it's a different plate. I think the plate thing I was saying is correct. Because, like, if you look here, let's try to examine any of these. Yeah. Hiding a coin underneath a piece of steak. I feel like this is a good time. I think I have to do a number... Hold on. I have another restroom break, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. It's kind of difficult. Alright, we are back. Alright, so we're going to be looking at this. Our big crime thing. Hold on. There is a big crime scene photo over here. And we are going to get to the bottom of this. Crime scene photo. Steak. Yes. This one.
Take that!
Take that.
A photographic print of this scene taken immediately after the incident occurred.
What's interesting is this plate of steak that you see on the victim's table.
The steak that Miss Brett's been eating before the professor is killed. Yes? Go on.
More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's plate just before the professor was killed.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's eaten. What I'm saying... Ah! I see you've noticed too, Miss Brett.
Notice what exactly, Counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman would even contemplate picking up a steak and biting it without a use of a knife and fork.
Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. Miss Brett is a shit gremlin. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. She did make sloppy steaks. She does pour water on her steaks and eat them with her hands.
Oh!
Oh! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. That she has no table manners! So if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all, as if she did go to town on the steak.
Objection!
But goblin mode is not a crime. Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was just ravenously Shut up! I was really that hungry. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. No one must know about my tableside manners.
Of course, it'll be all over in the blink of an eye.
Oh, you missed. Oh, hi, Amanda, how's it going? Alright, we are in the very cusp of finding out something crazy. Because, this plate of steak has some wild shit going on. There was a coin in the steak this whole time. So, like, the fact that, like, this steak exists, and they were like, we're gonna examine it to see if, like, there's any blood marks, because there's no blood marks on the side. That's been wiped off. But apparently, there was a coin that was hidden inside of this big thing of steak. Now that was, what's it called? The antique dude's coin. And it's like, oh shit, who took his coin and who snuck it inside of the meat? As it turns out, this army sergeant here is a fucking thief. And, like, has been trying to steal from, like, so many people at the restaurant. It was a thing where, like, Veterans Affairs wasn't paying him for his service. So, like, he had to turn to robbery in order to be able to make money to feed his son. So, he was going to be his next target because he was an easy mark. But he ended up sneaking the steak inside the coin inside the steak so that he wouldn't be caught. But the big problem here is now, she made a remark and she was like, oh, who would possibly eat, like, a steak like that? because, like, what's his name admitted, what's it called? Nosa admitted that he just pretty much ate the steak without, like, a fork and a knife. He just bit into it like that. But this plate was on Giselle Brett's end. So that means Giselle Brett eats her steak by grabbing it with her hands and biting into it. So from this point on, at this point in the trial, we're pretty much facing the consequences of what happens now that we know that Giselle eats, like, steak with her bare hands and teeth.
Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady.
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Especially the ones on top of your head? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implications behind these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. Damn goblin mode steak. Yeah. Imagine, like, going to the restaurant being like, the silverware wasn't used at all. Because she uses her hands to grab the steak and eat it as if it's, like, a piece of jerky. I mean, it looks pretty well done. So I imagine you could probably eat this like jerky. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak have allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know saw somehow seemed to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day.
I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us?
Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond a doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase.
Typical empty threats. Racism. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple.
If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago.
Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't even been brought up to the court yet.
Has it been? What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean the evidence doesn't exist.
That's absurd. The trial's been running several hours, several days, several streams, and you say there's no evidence yet to be brought? There can't be! I won't believe you have it.
Objection.
I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Take it away, Twista. Someone in this very courtroom. If that person is willing to submit this piece of evidence I'm referring to, that will solve every remaining mystery about this case.
Very, very well. I had a feeling this will be my last request to the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth of this whole affair?
Hosonaga. I mean, he's the one that steals from crime scenes. Also, it would be weird if he would definitely have just like 50 other things that would be incriminating.
Take that!
The answer is very obvious. Inspector Hosonaga.
What? I have it?
Yes.
You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korekutsu's coin, he told us he slipped it underneath there. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still, I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlewoman if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. Mind me manhandling her meal? It's such an odd way of putting it. It's like, I think she'd be very disturbed if I grabbed her steak, started squeezing it, started poking at it, gave it a big bite of my own, and then just threw a coin underneath there. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Attention!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor does she have the opportunity to steal the coin.
Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over?
Yeah?
You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. I wouldn't be able to pull the meat out of my pants, so I decided to hide it on top of the table. When the cadet here was arrested and took it off the kitchen, I seized my chance. I grabbed my Shmeat, I hid it on the table, and then I took his Shmeat and I put it right in my hands. That's how I was able to get out of it. With my precision and timing, I switched the steak with one on the foreign lady's table.
What?
You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell ya. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor San.
What now?
I swear on my brass buttons of my uniform. That's all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant!
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in the trial, you told the court this. You said you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak, but also the sergeant's. That's to preserve evidence. You had taken both.
Ah.
That's correct. Then please present to the court right now the plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. It can't have any slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of this time, lady.
I beg your pardon.
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promised to prove such a problem for you. No?
You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Thinks he remembers.
I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the table that was on the table directly behind Mr. Wilson, there was a clear smattering of blood from the gunshot wound in the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett.
Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir. Yep, there's blood.
Hope this isn't... What? What is this? Here is the other steak in its plate. What? What is this? It's blood. Hope this isn't Hosonaga's blood.
Yes!
Now it's time to make everything clear. The blood you see on the side of the plate shows us that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
It can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly shot Dr. Wilson from the front, not the back. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! You're the irredeemable monster.
What took you so long, idiot?
Outdone by a Japanese. Me by a Japanese schoolboy. No, no, no. No. Oh fuck. It was the crow that did it. It was the swan that murdered.
Yeah!
Oh, it lit fun at baby chicks. What the fuck? Why are there babies everywhere? What in the fuck happened?
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, cool motive, but still guilty. I think that's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I took that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you plan to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because the curare is unheard of here in Britain.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor had one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to meet the professor meant that I had lost my chance, and it had slipped away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan at the spur of a moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had a bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns. One for the plug and one for the load.
Yes.
And then when I finished my coffee and got up to leave, that's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure I would notice.
And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then just when you bent over to pick it up,
that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead.
Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him into the pantry to adjoin the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Mr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. Man, this stuff would have never happened today. With all of the things like cameras and such, like, you could only get away with this if there were no cameras whatsoever.
So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency.
Yes?
I wonder, might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
And so I guess you're innocent, I guess. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement.
This can't be. Taketsuchi Ouchie does not lose. I only cause the ouchies. I don't get them. Not in the likes of this rookie student.
You'd better start getting used to getting beat up.
Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
But yes.
This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, Council. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. The future is now, old man. Not this whole, like... be like, get out of the way. Oh, you are old and busted. I am the new hotness. The way of the world. May you never... It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh no, he's gonna murder Aluchi. Oh fuck. He cut off his little top, so he only has... he only has, like, the skeleton hair. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Aochi clan will never measure up to Naruhodo clan. Not them, like, referring to the other pains that show up in, like, the other Ace Attorneys. Where, like, it's all because, what's it called, in the future, like, all of, like, Naruhodo's descendants are going to fight, like, Aochi's descendants, and they have to, like, win court cases and stuff like that. It's so goofy. It's just, like, all of the Johnnies in Metal Gear Solid. And how each of them have to, like, poop themselves in front of Snake.
This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan, I believe, go down in history as the start of the new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. As it is written, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, are the hero of Gamelon.
Yes, thank you. That's worth a kiss, huh?
The use of evidence and desire to unravel the truth is modern methodology. After all, it's only been a short decade since our country has opened its borders, but the Western ideas of science are gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods and new procedures to investigations and justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will I look at? I cannot imagine. That is for the young to pursue. I will be replaced by Kazuma. Kazuma Aoki.
Yes.
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything in the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed on you.
I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Oh yes.
In you, I sense, how do you put it, an unusual potential. I very much look forward to see how you carry that onwards.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
Yay! Oh man, look at everybody that's cheering. There's so many people here that are like really happy to see me win.
The court is now adjourned.
Sakura petals inside of the courtroom. It is springtime after all. We're in Sakura season, so it's time for Sakura petals for no reason. Let's see, the 22nd, yeah. Yeah, that steak was eaten on the 19th, so by the 27th without a fridge, both of those steaks would have been rotten by now, wouldn't they? 2020, that's like 3 days without like any kind of like refrigeration, I imagine. Maybe they have to salt them in the back. Put them in ice, but again, how would you make ice at this age? I mean, it's probably believable, yes. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happening. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. You got yourself off in court. And now it's time for me to get you off, big boy. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. Give me a kiss. So now you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from a place in Yume University Street. Don't forget, you owe me a big slab of that huge meat of yours. Good afternoon. All your hard work has paid off.
Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence.
Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know.
Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things could have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate.
Your father?
Yes, of course.
Forgive me for intruding. This is all flashback stuff. Speaking of Bikutoba.
Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh no, it's I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Professor Mikutoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's where you met Dr. Wilson?
Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital.
Oh, you worked together?
I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what happens in the world's largest melting pot. You might even get to meet, like, their soccer team and stuff.
I will. I'll learn what I can. I swear on this. But the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? The TSA does not exist. Nor does the NSA. I am going to be able to carry my sword around in public, and they will have nothing to say to me other than, "Oh, carry on, good sir, with your fucking samurai sword." A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. If I pull it out and I say, "Hey, show me where my hotel is," they'll tell me instantly. See how that works? Wonderful. And cuts down anything that's in my way. I'll get that Jack the Ripper once and for all. Yes, I decided it's definitely how sharp it is with my own eyes. And that reminds me, what happened to that woman? Did you say Albrett, I mean? After all, she's guilty of murder.
Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but this was not a trial to make her guilty. This was a trial to make you innocent.
What do you mean? Surely she's going to face a trial herself now. She's a true culprit after all.
She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai.
What? Shanghai?
Giselle Brett will not be appearing in court again in this country. I'm certain for that.
What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Jurisdiction. It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosanaka.
It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch.
I must... Well, what's this about consular jurisdiction?
We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan.
What? We can't try her? Then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case. Somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now, that we've signed a friendship treaty.
Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right.
Then so long as this is not a serious incident of highly political nature of our respective governments, they can't invoke consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making a secret agreement about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions in Japan.
I'm afraid that the young student... Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her.
I don't believe it.
The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They are obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make that change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt that a woman will receive the judgment she does. That change is coming, and we're the ones driving. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink.
But Professor... You're right. There's no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. On your tab, of course.
In that case, might I suggest Le Carnival?
Fuck off. We are not going to the fucking restaurant where you're doing a sting operation at. We're getting yakitori and sukiyaki.
As head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you ample food and drink.
You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you?
Let's not worry about the details. They just kind of let me inside the back. I have, like, the police on my side. I could be like, oh, you're gonna let me pretend I work for you, or I'm going to get this... I'm going to put, like, a roach in the kitchen and shut this place down entirely. Or you can let me pretend to be a waiter and I get to have fun. Steal items from fucking people. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course, La Carnival's food is second to none.
I shall go and attend to paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. Man, everybody is shitting on my plans to have a dinner date at the Sukiyaki place with Kazuma. Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma? Yes, Ryunosuke. I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. Ha 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 ha! I did not do such a thing. You were a lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skill made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to be the great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. I would do anything for Kazuma. He's a very gorgeous dude. I was surprised. I was like, kind of like Phoenix Wright and Edgeworth, like themselves. Like, I know they were kind of modeled after like BL from the early 2000s, but I feel like their hair is so weird to me. Now I'm like, oh, these guys are being shipped, but they're not really conventionally attractive. So to see like Ryunosuke looking pretty sharp and then Kazuma being like absolutely like kind of gorgeous, like it was actually a huge surprise. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. I just did what you told me to, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? In what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his victim, for his clients. He has to believe them at all times. Like you believed me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in, and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in a courtroom, you can get really backed into a corner, but being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even. Well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you faced seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds very serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Inspector Hosonaga. We've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Miko Telba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. Giselle Brett, thank you for killing that person. It's because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't managed to ask me his favor for me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Phew. Oh man, the game is over? Oh man. Oh wow, that's such a short game, actually. Save complete. Let's see. I think I'm gonna stop around 1, but I'm going to. Oh, I'm not gonna look at spoilers. Episode 2: The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. I need to be able to get my voice up. Sorry. Let's start from the beginning. Episode 2: The Adventure of the Unbreakable... Episode 2: The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band.
Small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath.
Oh, Sholmes.
In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air.
Oh man, we're gonna get
My dark lantern
Sherlock.
shudder, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing
Oh man,
final
someone from
words.
Tumblr wrote that.
The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared.
Oh
as it
man, an
threatened
enormous
to
adder.
strike.
Oh man,
It truly
they
was
found the black
most
adder.
Terrible speckled band I had
Rowan
ever seen.
Atkinson will have a lot to say about that. Man. It sucks that he's too busy on like Johnny English to be able to bring back Blackadder. Man, it's funny how that dude was like, I'm going to be so upset about cancel culture, but like the
Let us unravel this
the main problem is that I
discover
hate
what
Mr.
event
B.
led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery.
A little more sharp than
In his final
Cumberbatch.
moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor.
Fap!
Almost certainly.
Did that
the
message
ink
say
of
fap?
this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then.
He was rushing to write that down. It's not rushing, rushing.
This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Ooh, some Chanel number
This conspiracy was
5.
placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
are you? And what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait. That
I
will
love all
be
the
necessary. You
the
see,
accents.
in less than 5 seconds from now,
Oh,
I will
Zangief.
reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd.
We could tell
This
this
is
done.
murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
Ooh.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Everyone's British, even the Japanese
Who
people.
are you, and where have you come from? I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I
Man,
presume.
the JoJo stand. This JoJo naming scheme, so that Arthur Conan Doyle's people don't start knocking on our doors. It's Sherlock Holmes with his stand. What was like a really good like Tumblr song back in the day? Part of me thinks Cool Kids by Echo Smith. I wish that I could be like the cool kids. Maybe not. Maybe no. I'll figure it out soon. What Sherlock's stand would be. Oh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? Oh man, this is 999. This is how 999 happened. What's it called? You get locked inside of a door. I go outside, and then like the front lobby, there's gonna be a ton of weird people that I have to interact with and do puzzles with.
So you're awake. We dragged you out of court wardrobe. I do not believe how you would not wake up. You are truly a cool-blooded man.
You. Ha! You found me then.
Da, we found you. And now you pay, criminal. How long you hiding in tiny wardrobe?
Sorry. I should probably save. That was a very long, like, intro.
Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is.
No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Is that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mrs. Sato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma?
Ah, you pretend you do not know. You are a wolf in sheep pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses.
What? Kazuma-san's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. It was bolted shut from the inside. His body.
Please.
Oh. I hope they didn't really kill Kazuma. Try to tell us how to do this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. Oh. These hand... He's actually gone. I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma's life? Answer me, please. No. Ah! Sorry. Voice is a bit off. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Ha 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 ha! Don't you find it funny being a stowaway? Besides, how else would you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when you brought your luggage in here earlier, though. You brought a lot of very interesting things with you. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought it was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. That's so mean. Be like, oh, you're so dainty and femme, how attractive. Honestly, I've broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock to Great Britain. Degrading kink, like size kink. We have 50 days. I brought a lot of luggage with me. You're gonna be my little stowaway. We can get away with a lot, you know. You just have to make sure you keep quiet. If you confine yourself in my cabin, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get a feeling those Russians wouldn't be forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? She's interested in me, and I want to be on the DL with you. From our faithful judicial assistant Mikutoba? From your close friend? More to the point, surely we couldn't confide with her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. Man, yeah, that would probably spell a lot of trouble. Being like, she's an accomplice to our, like, 50-day fuck festival. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that Stewart is supposed to come and clean. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there. I think. It won't be for long. Anyway, compared to hiding me inside the travel case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open up the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll really be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I could stick it over in the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How could this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together.
We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Do not make trouble for yourself. Murderer.
No, I'm not a murderer.
Duh, you said it before. You said you admit to your crime.
No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend?
No one else could have done it. Admit the truth.
Susato-san. Please tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too.
Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened.
Let's see. I guess probably what had happened. He was really killed, wasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a portal window, and a bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit could only have been someone inside the cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. Are you still gonna deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me! The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, of course. There's no post-mortem analysis experience. Yeah, it's pretty rough. I feel bad that this is another thing where I have to like prove my innocence. It really sucks. I don't suppose we shall learn more until the expert's been consulted, our next port of call. So presumably that means there's no obvious internal signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened in the cabin? Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on here? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you wouldn't have to answer better than anything else. Please. Whatever you say, you weren't here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake me before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside the cabin as I have everything so far in this voyage. But this morning he didn't come. I couldn't sense that he couldn't come. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at the cabin door? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went and found a member of the crew. The crew forced the cabin door open when he managed to get inside. There was Kazuma-san, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape now shows exactly where his body was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard for me to believe too, trust me. Now that I've told you everything I know, so now it's my turn to ask you a question. It's alright. My head feels like so heavy. It's like throbbing. Why are you even aboard this ship? You said something before about being a stowaway. Oh yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in the cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied his cabin for so long without him noticing? No, it would have been impossible. Obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea I've had on my mind ever since the beginning of the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you, didn't I, that you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say something like that, but I didn't think you were serious. I couldn't sleep under the bed. Why the cabinet? It's a pretty... I guess because I was able to fit in that tight box. You have a talent for it, I can assure you that. But I really never thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development. the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with my own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level. If you were to become a lawyer then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-san he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do it with you. I mean, he's thought about doing it with me another number of times, but I guess the lawyer thing is also something he planned on doing with me. Yes, maybe, but something's still bothering me a little. That look in his eyes when it was darker than I'd seen before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-san, I was expecting he was trying to protect me, to avoid being guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Yeah, I think he was probably like, he probably knew that he had a target on his back. So like he wanted, I guess, like Naruhodo to be able to find the person that would be, I guess, the guilty person. Or I guess to be able to catch him. But in order to do that, like, he would have to have been sacrificed. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into the wardrobe over there, just as I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-san was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, and perhaps it wouldn't have been, I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it! I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could have possibly done this. Ugh. Kazuma, I don't understand why. Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. Kazuma was killed right under my nose here. I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to sit around, my hands tied, with whoever did this walks free? No, I won't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm gonna find out exactly what happened. I'm going to work out who took his life, and why they did it, and how they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to excuse me. Yeah. Man, Susato is really awful. That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form's that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it. Yes, you're innocent. I need evidence. How am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Oh, I see. She's expecting me to provide her some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her the evidence right now and prove it. Let's see. Akira. Akaron. It says keep on in Japanese. Akara. Akaraso. What? Is that really Akaraso? Hold on. Let me look up in katakana. Cause like I was like, that is definitely a different word. That's yeah. Ka is ake. Ake. That's a dot. It's definitely either dot or dot. Rari rurera. Uru. Akuru. Is that so? No, akura. Akurona. Akurona. So akurona. Oh, that's the keep out message. That would be evidence that. Yeah.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovering the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled the sign from the wardrobe door before you opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside door of my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you're sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-san thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Do you think perchance you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. Thank you, so you finally believe me. I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not so sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility you used some sort of conjuring trick. What does you think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly in here as possible. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you don't do anything that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you to use your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on the investigation here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge you. Let's see. Examine. Let's see. Let's look inside of this bad boy. 2 weeks since we set out. Have you really been living in that wardrobe your entire time? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Though it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did have to basically live in the wardrobe. Last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find it so focused. I forget to look around properly. That's not good. I suppose you're as foolish as me in those regards, aren't you? I'm sure you're careful to look around using your controller, right? Yeah, of course, we always have those in, like, the turn of the 20th century. suppose my field of vision is rather small until now. Let's see. Let's look at this, like, Danganronpa bloodstain. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. If we flip this around, it says Leon upside down. Leon is the one that killed him. Poor Kazuma. No doubt he was in terrible pain. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue behind in his final moments. I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo. What then? What language is it? It pains me to admit, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. I see some skid marks here. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glass. Whatever this thing is, it appears to be broken in two. It's in such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener for a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? Oh, I guess he was gonna dress up in the kimono and he kind of put the bow a little forward for a little... And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? Some sort of brick hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of a brick, isn't it? Though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Let's see. One of these books. What's this weird, like, Kamoshida trophy? You are a winner. Oh, come on. Just a little. There we go. The books have fallen over on this shelf. Look. They've all toppled in the same way. And what's this? A statue of the god of the sea, although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost like the whole shelf had been ransacked and everything mowed down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma's doing, his sword training, don't you think? I doubt it. And perhaps it was you in a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up books and a statue. Be like, kill Kazuma and then knock over things out of spite. Could these things have been thrown in any way to do with the case, I wonder? Well, it's just everything set straight again. I don't like this mess. You tampered with the crime scene, Susato, you baka. Oh, I guess these are just the things. These are the rules of passage for the travelers. Abroad is essential for the list. Abroad. Passengers must not keep weapons. Pets are also forbidden. Why are you staring at me like that? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, I'm more of a pet, and the sword is more of the object, at least in Kazuma's eyes. I've done a lot of pet play with Kazuma before. You know, I bark, I eat from, like, a bowl of, like, quote-unquote, like, kibble. Like, he pets me, I bark, and then he takes me from behind. It's like how all pet play is. You wouldn't know because you're not cultured, Susato. This is where dear Kazuma-san would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry was incomplete, which means he was in the middle of writing when the incident happened. Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! Stop throwing me! It's out of the question. Kazuma-san may have departed, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if there's evidence in there? Not Susato withholding evidence just because she's like, oh, we can't read about his private thoughts. Alright, I won't read it. Susato doesn't want to hear about the pet play stories. I don't like prying into personal matters, but we're supposed to kind of investigate what happens here. God, Susato's the worst. There is a giant thing here. Anyone could have swoosed. Maybe that's some kind of opening for a ventilation shaft. And a hole through it with fresh air. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But its purpose is to allow fresh air in the room. Surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are tough. Or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. Oh, it's Sherlock. Oh, Perlock. As far as I could tell, he looks a bit European. Oh, how did he... You noticed that man too, haven't you? I have no idea how he got in, but he looks suspicious and tall. And suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or any acquaintances like that. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he is investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, damn, yeah. I'm innocent on the ground that I have no friends. Am I just imagining her? Does Susato look like she's uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed, but just in case, if you press A on people, you can talk to them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Actually, I think it's starting to come around like 1. So I think I'm gonna try to save this and try to be able to have this all kind of done and out of the way, done and dusted, so that I can continue this on another day of the sun. I'm sorry if this is all keeping you in suspense, but I need to be able to have some food. Save and quit. One more go around, let's see. Man, I have to go really bad too. So I have a lot to take care of. But yeah, thank you so much. I am really happy that you were all able to attend, or anyone who could attend was able to attend. I will be able to part you off with a touch of the beauty mark and a touch of the mic. And now you'll be able to go off and have a wonderful meal yourself, maybe. Or check out some other stuff on Twitch. My friend Amanda will be... I'm not sure if they'll be streaming a little bit later on, but if they are, they're going to be on soon. But it is very exciting to be able to do this and be able to take this on. I'm not sure what I'll be playing next week aside from this, but I will figure out once I am off. But until then, farewell, and I will see you all next week, or the next couple days on Thursday. See ya!